Hello everybody, Mike from the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast here, and I'm back with another one of these front row live music performance reactions, and we are back in the wonderful world of Elvis Presley with a 1970 performance of In the Ghetto. I have not seen this performance. This will be a completely fresh and honest and pure reaction to what I, if precedent is anything to go by, assume will be another terrific powerful performance by Elvis Presley. A quick reminder that I do pause these videos. I do talk over them a little bit. That's how I do. I recommend that you watch the video in full first before I spoil it. And also, I would also remind you to check out some of the other content on this channel, including all of the other film, TV, pop culture, analysis, commentary and reaction, and podcasts that are here. So without further ado, let's get into this and watch some Elvis Presley. Shot on film. Look at it. Great cinematic.
As a snow flies on a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child is born in the ghetto.
Beautiful. Oh, strings. Vocals.
And his mama cried.
Gonna stop there already. Elvis looks great, doesn't he, in these 1970 performances? You know, he is obviously transitioning into the super heroic flamboyance that would be associated with his later live performance years. But, you know, he looks great. He's slim. He looks like a superhero. He's very present, as he always seems to be in these performances. So, you know, whatever was going on in his life, and I don't want to speculate in those later years, certainly doesn't seem to affect his performance or his commitment to perform for his audiences. But so far already, this is beautiful. I know his song, but I'm not overly familiar with this version, and I've certainly never seen this performance. But yeah, great vocals, great strings, great backing vocals already. Really incredible cinematic performance. Why did Elvis never do a Bond theme? Elvis would have crushed a Bond theme. He would have owned the Bond theme from then on. Yeah, I'd be really curious to know whether that was ever a conversation. He was in the right era. Okay, let's go back.
As a snow flies on a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child is born in the ghetto.
So layered and beautiful.
And his mama cries.
In the voice.
But if there's one thing that she don't need, it's another hungry mouth to feed in the ghetto.
I mean, this is, again, Elvis Presley very much in social commentary mode, isn't it? And I think that one of his incredible skills as a performer is being able to balance the larger than life with the relatable, human, intimate earnestness. You know, he, for all appearances, really believes what he's singing. If I Can Dream is a great performance example of that I covered before, where it feels like he's almost pleading. You know, the lyrics are pleading, but the performance is pleading. The man is pleading. And what you see here is somebody who is not just performing the song, but is kind of a conduit for the song. The song is passing through his psyche and affecting him emotionally, and he's giving out the emotion as well as the actual beautiful, technically impressive performance. And the band are great as well. Like at the beginning, you can just hear an acoustic guitar, and it gives it that singer-songwriter simplicity. But of course, the Bacharackian, almost Phil Spector wall of sound instrumentation comes in, because of course what Elvis was doing at this time did have that dichotomy of the immediate and the intimate, with the lavish and the orchestral, of course. And that's a great combination for a song like this.
People, don't you understand? The child needs a helping hand. I hear you're gonna be an angry young man someday. Now take a look at you and me. Are we too blind to see? Or do we simply turn our heads and look the other way? Where the world turns.
I think the other thing here as well is this idea of authenticity. I think that there is a bit of a myth in music, largely, I think, created by male music critics who, of course, were gatekeepers for many years. I realise the irony of me saying this. And I think the feeling is that for serious music, it has to be raw. You know, you think about people like Bob Dylan and Neil Young, and that all comes from Woody Guthrie and, of course, Hank Williams. But then before that, the Carter family, and Appalachian music and rural music and blues and country and folk. And that music that is very technically proficient or lavish, to use an earlier word, should in some way be treated suspiciously as being fraudulent or inauthentic. And I think that's nonsense. I think Elvis has as much emotional sincerity and authenticity as any croaky-voiced folk singer. And I think that it's a very critically immature opinion to, in some ways, diminish the legitimacy of what, or the authenticity of what Elvis is doing from a social commentary perspective. And I think it's also worth mentioning that the diversity of the band really comes into play here as well. You know, you do have these African-American singers. And of course, you know, the song itself is about communities that those singers may have come from or may have associations with. So I think that presenting planet Earth in Elvis's band, or at least planet America, whilst performing this song, is a very quietly powerful demonstration of kind of walking the walk that I don't think would be possible if it was just Elvis as a folk singer. And I'm going to go back a little bit because I'm talking a lot over this one, and it really is an amazing performance as well, of course.
The other way, where the world turns, and a hungry little boy with the runny nose plays in the street as a cold wind blows in the ghetto.
Wow.
And his hunger burns.
Lead vocal is amazing.
So he starts to roam the streets at night, and he learns how to steal, and he learns how to fight in the ghetto. Then one night in desperation, the young man breaks away. He buys a gun, he steals a car, he tries to run, but he don't get far, and his mama cries.
So much empathy in this performance.
As a crowd gathers round, an angry young man face down in the street with a gun in his hand in the ghetto. And as the young man dies, on a cold and gray Chicago morning, another little baby child is born in the ghetto.
What a song. Circle of Life.
And his mama cries.
Wow, look at him. Cypher. You tell him, Elvis. And also the power of to reach an audience that Elvis had, you know, to go back to this question of legitimacy. I think a lot of the time, the folk singers of the time, they were kind of preaching to the choir or preaching to the converted. You know, they were talking to people who were very probably already coming from a very liberal sensibility, a very socially aware, socially conscious sensibility where, you know, Elvis is singing to people eating their dinner here. And I think that in some ways, you know, that takes more guts. It takes more courage for somebody who already has the crown, you know, to risk that crown by talking about these concerns. And what a gorgeous song, you know, this idea of this cycle, this sort of self-perpetuating cycle of poverty and violence and being trapped, and the incredible empathy in Elvis's voice and in his face, in his performance. That's the other thing. I mentioned Elvis as a actor, and there are certain actors who are great open-faced actors. They make great movie actors, you know, even more so than theatre actors. And Elvis understood that as a performer, whether that be acting or on stage. He understood the power of a small gesture or completely suppressing a gesture, as is the case here. How letting the music play and being completely close-faced and unexpressive has a power all of its own. So yeah, that was a really tremendous, moving, very measured performance of an incredible song that again shows a side of Elvis that I think a lot of people forget, and they should be celebrated more. So yeah, more Elvis suggestions, please keep them coming. Quick reminder that I do appreciate feedback. Do leave comments here on the YouTube channel, and likes and subscribes. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that and set your alerts so you know when new content is coming out. And do check out some of the other stuff on this channel, namely the other film, TV, movie, reaction videos, podcast, and other good pop cultural content that's on there. So do go and check that out, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.